Yo, what's up, everybody? Hopefully, everybody's having a great week so far. Today is Wednesday. We just have already 3 days into the week, and we still have 2 more days left for the week, guys. So, what I want to do today is kind of just do a quick recap on the market, real quick, based off the weekly watch list, and as well, I want to talk about some supply, so some of you guys can see what truly happened in the market and how it happened, right? So you guys have seen the multiple videos based on supply and demand. All we talk about here is supply and demand and just educating on the way that things work out. Pattern breaks, news catalyst, staircase pattern, how to trail a position, how to build into a position. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there that we've been providing in the past few videos. And what I want to do again today, just remind you guys that supply, it's another way, another form of also identifying and trading in the markets for the downside. So it's the same thing as the accumulation phase. And the accumulation phase, what it is the area of demand, right? So I'm going to point out jets for you guys and clarify on some things where the demand is, right? A demand is built in a huge range, an area where somebody decides that there's value being created. When there's value being created for the share price point and the value of that company, investors start to load up in that area. Even if it's a huge red candle, when it comes to that specific area, it gives it that much strength that that's going to be a demand that people investors are going to come and start buying, while the retail crew is still bearish because they see a huge red candle. Okay, so here I just want to point out a big area of demand on jets. Okay, if you look across the board on anything that has to do with airlines, it's the same thing, right? So airlines right here, all this demand down here. Let me just show you real quick again. AAL, just so you guys can see that the supply and demand levels, guys, on the bigger time frames are the ones that you should be looking out for. And this is the one that I talked about the most the previous couple of weeks. And then we pointed out this pattern on jets. We pointed out that it was at demand. And then we just clearly talked about having this level on high watch because it was going to create this nice staircase pattern to the top. And it did just that, right? The leaps were ended up green. The call swings were green. The day trades were green. Everything, you name it. This week, it was not on the watch list just because I knew that we needed a pullback on here. And as you can see, I do have my alert right here at this 2350. And right when that happens, I will just give you guys a heads up on something that I'm going to look for. Again, target down here. To the downside, my alerts are already down there. Same thing for AAL. My targets are down here. My alerts are down there. I mean, you name it, UAL alerts. I'm already ready, guys. So I'm understanding that once there's demand and there's a staircase pattern, I want to get the retest as well. So I want to buy the dip again on airlines when the time comes. As of right now, the move just happened to the top side. Everything came down today, and we're gonna talk about why. Okay, so that was just a little recap on some demand and one of the previous weekly watch lists that we had, right? So just so everybody's aware. Okay, now one thing that I did mention and I keep on mentioning is that we are at all-time highs, and that any pullback that is created or happens can bring about a lot of volatility. The volatility is created by volume. The volatility is created by fear. It's created based on catalyst as well. If we have a catalyst, it just gives it that much more room to become volatility. The volatility creates fear, which brings about the VIX. Okay, the VIX is only a fear-based volatility indicator. Okay, you can't come on here and start charting and say, "Oh, well, it hit 20, guys." Okay, it makes no sense because on a regular day, this will not move and go to 20 and then get rejected. On a day where there's a catalyst in the market, it'll move based on that fear. So this way, creating volatility, there's a difference between volatility and a pullback. Okay, so today was volatility pullback with the break of supply. Okay, so I want to make that clear. Today there was some bad reports. There was some bad catalyst with the Evergrande has officially defaulted. So it was a breaking news that happened kind of like midday or early morning around there. So it created a lot of volatility in the market, a lot of fear. Okay, what that does, if you guys want to go search it out, please, it's going to affect a lot of the Chinese markets, and there's a high probability that they might be red, and it's going to bring the futures down just a bit. Okay, don't take me for my word. Just do some research, guys. Be aware of how that can affect the markets in general, and how can it affect our plays or call plays or swing plays to the top or leaps to the top, whatever it is, right? Today it was an overreaction on all that stuff, but let's look at the charts and let's read and understand why these things came down, right? With or without that news catalyst, we are at an all-time high in the market. That's something that I've been mentioning and watching out for these pullbacks because they can get aggressive. They're a lot more aggressive today because of the catalyst, all right? That's number two. The other thing is that anything that goes into these all-time highs, what gives it away on the 4-hour time frame for me, is I like to look at these wicks. Okay, see the wicks? How we ended up getting rejected instantly right from the top. We hit that all-time high, that 47 psychological number. It cracked just a little bit above, but we still couldn't trade above that 47 at all. Okay, so it's a psychological thing here, guys. You want to look at it as an all-time high. Some of you always wonder, like, how far can we go? Well, you got to look at whole numbers, okay? If it's hitting 100, look for 105. If it's hitting breaking 105, look for 110. Okay, if it's breaking 110, look for 115, 120, 125, right? You got to think psychologically in the markets because that's what we do. Trading is, man, I gotta tell you, I gotta say, like, it's like 99% psychological because the other percentage is just you doing your homework and setting some alerts on support and resistance, right? Now some of you may disagree, but it's psychological, guys. A lot of it, it comes to us making it so difficult. Some of us have tons of indicators and looking for scanners and looking for all these reasons just to have on your chart, when in reality all you got to really truly think about is a buyer and seller. That's it. And if you can identify what is happening in the market based on the candles and the catalyst and the volume, and just the simple things, then I think it'll make things a lot more clear, right? Psychologically, again, like I said, we hit a 47 number, the 4,700 on ES, and we couldn't break any further. We're at an all-time high, guys. I know a lot of indicators out there are, oversold. I mean, overbought, and then we're far away from the EMAs and the SMAs and all this stuff, and we need a pullback. So a pullback is definitely healthy, right? So how do you identify when something is being created at a supply? Okay, a supply is created by a range, same thing as you would for a demand. The supply is created with multiple things. Okay, first of all, with a nice rejection. Second of all, the candles start to get a lot smaller. Third, you start to see volume coming in. Okay, so everything that I just pointed out, I just showed you right now what's happening, right? Look at the volume from right here. Even this green candle, look how much the volume increased. So just because we had a nice green trend doesn't mean sellers were not involved. All that means is that there was a lot more going on right here, a lot of more exchanging of value between buyers and sellers just ended up taking over this position here. All right, where was the base created? Now let's go on the hour chart and kind of see what it did. All right, look at here. This is how you want to understand. Your 47 is your psychological number, okay? You see this? We couldn't break above. Right here, we popped just because of the volume was very aggressive, and it was just, happy-go-lucky. Everybody's like, yeah, we're over 47. Let's go. Next thing you know, we hit 47.11, and then people are still trying to buy these dips, right? So when this thing dropped, somebody bought the dip here. Overnight, it held. So people ended up taking profit. People try to get back in right here over that 47. Again, everybody was so excited. Let's take this long over 47. Nothing really happened, right? What's happening here is psychologically, a lot of the retail crew comes in and tries to trade tops. Stop trying to buy the top on an all-time high. the best thing to do on an all-time high is to buy the dip somewhere. Buy the dip because your stop loss is right below, and there's no reason for you to bag hold this position. If you're buying that momentum trade to the top on the breakout of supply at a psychological number at an all-time high, you're putting yourself at a higher risk. Okay, so don't do that. Stop doing that if you are. Okay, start changing your trading strategy. Okay, so psychologically we hit that 47, guys. We rejected right here this same day. On this day we couldn't go above. We stayed a range. What was this, Monday? We stayed a range. We couldn't go above. The next day, look what happened, guys. We instantly got rejected from that level, and then we broke this base here that was created. Okay, so technically what you want to do is understand the bigger picture. Boom, there goes your supply that was created. Look what happened yesterday. It rejected. You got that nice green candle. You got more rejection towards that closing. We couldn't even stay above. Already showing a sign of rejection. Rejection here on NQ. Everybody got so happy thinking that we were bullish right in the morning. And look what happened. All this ended up dropping to the bottom. This is a classic drop base drop. Okay, let me show you. Here's your drop. Here's your base. Here's your drop. Where do we go next? We basically hit the next structure. We broke this structure here and we hit it. We hit this next structure right on the bottom. Look at my target. I already have my alerts down here and they all hit. This was posted in my bot that goes out to more than 10 servers out there, guys. Okay, this was also explained in the weekly watch list video. A lot of stuff that I talked about, a lot of the levels that I provide, they're all the same and they don't change. The zones that I provide for you guys are going to stay the same. They'll be the same yesterday, they'll be the same tomorrow, they'll be the same a week from now. These levels will not change. This base here that you see, put these lines and extend them to the right, extend them to the right. All these, extend them to the right. And you're gonna see, and I guarantee that these zones are gonna hit once again, okay? So you guys remember that. You guys gotta take a screenshot of this, do it by all means, okay? But this is what happened, all right? Don't get too happy just because we hit an all-time high in the markets. We're trending up very high, guys, so this is normal. What set it off today, again, just to create this pattern for this to actually play out to the downside, is that news came in probably midday. All right, let me show you guys where it came in. I'm gonna go on the 15 now. That news came around this time right here. Right here. This is where the news came out, at this piece right here. My time, it was around 10:30, so around here. So it was already dropping right before that news came out. So it was already dictated, and price action was already heading into the bearish direction anyway. There was a lot of stocks in the market today that did not follow through to the top side, okay? That is your form of supply right here. Now let me show you NQ. NQ did the same thing, guys, okay? Look at this. Look at the base that was created, okay? Some of you probably didn't even zoom out your charts because you guys are too busy thinking that we're gonna keep on running at these all-time high levels, and we're not, guys, okay? You guys need to chill, all right? Understand that we are going to experience some red candles. I'm sorry if you guys took some losses, but dang, take a step back, analyze what we're looking at, and be ready for any type of setup that comes in our way. Okay, make sure you manage your position properly. Don't go in too heavy. All right, now look at the structure here. This is going to stay the same. Again, this thing ended up drop, base drop. Look at the little structure here. This right here is not a demand. Okay, there's a difference. This thing is way too small to be called a demand right here. This thing ended up coming down, couldn't even push above it, and got rejected instantly. Where did we go? To the next level of demand. This structure here was a lot more candle bodies that traded sideways, which was a lot better. And then it ran all the way to the top, and look where we hit perfectly, right on the dot. Okay, right on the dot. Let me show you another one, RTY. RTY, you guys know that I followed RTY the whole way. And I did mention this one, look for a staircase pattern to go up. Okay, I'm not going to go on the weekly. I'll let you guys do the homework on the weekly time frame and make sure that it doesn't give up 50% of the gains from the breakout right here of this 23.05. Okay, that's going to be your guys' homework. So look at the staircase pattern on RTY. Okay, this was the staircase pattern that I told you guys to watch out for. Unfortunately, here we hit that 2460 again. Psychological number 2460. Okay, look at the numbers that are just psychological. Okay, all these numbers are psychological. Look at what happened now. We created a nice little base. We ended up dropping to the bottom. We retested that same zone for a supply. Now it's considered a supply because it got retested, and then it dropped and it blew through this one, and it still has room to drop just a bit more. And guess what? This is the area where I'm going to start looking to buy the dip, and my stop loss is going to be that 2350 area. Okay, this is the two levels that I'm going to start looking for RTY to start buying the dip. And then same thing with the airlines. If it drops a little more, I'll be okay with that. And then I'll just write it down with puts and then play to the top side. But I'm going to leave this for the end of the week, guys, just so you guys can understand how we're going to play RTY into next week and what we're going to be searching for, okay? So all this was created, guys, all right? Now let's talk about gold. Gold was the other ticker that I told you guys that was creating more of a potential breakout, right? So look at this. Now I'm just gonna delete this here. I'll leave those targets there. All right. This one was also on the weekly watch list, and I did tell you guys that this was going to have a nice trend change, and I said look out for the potential entry right here. What was this? Right above 1820. If the dip I would have hit, it would have been about 18. So I gave you 1820 and 18, and on Monday was the entry. We held all the way Tuesday, Wednesday, today. I ended up selling today for some solid profits. Well, if you guys are wondering, like if I traded the GC, I actually took a position on Forex and I ended up selling it today. The contract that I posted in the server, I did tell you guys, I said look for GOD. You don't have to chart this because it just follows /GC, which is gold. I entered here on this day, and then I entered here again, and then I woke up over 100% profits on GOD, and that was an amazing trade. But our gold is just what I explained to you guys. It was a safer asset while everything is happening with Bitcoin and everything. People are just starting to come back into gold. Whatever's going to happen in the market, let it be. But again, I guess I'll talk about gold just a bit more into next week. So I want to see what it's going to look like by Friday, and then I'll add it to the watch list again, right? So gold was an amazing entry, right? So I'll leave that there. So anyways, that is like one of the biggest things today with the market, guys, that there was a lot of supply on top. It did get created. The creation of supply is that based, and you have the psychological number, okay? It's at an all-time high. It was very, very simple to determine. All you had to do was zoom out, go on the bigger time frame, put your bias to the side, because we're not going to keep making all-time highs, and follow the patterns, okay? There's nothing wrong with taking a loss today. If anybody had swing plays and you got crushed, I'm sorry. But again, you got to know how to zoom out. You got to know how to identify these bases. These bases will save you guys, believe me. This is all I trade. I trade supply and demand. And once these are created, once they break above or below, I'm in. I'm stopping out right below. I'm stopping out right on top. I'm keeping it very, very simple. I don't wait for anybody to tell me to get in. I push the buy button on my own, and I hit my stop loss on my own, and I hit my take profit on my own. It's very simple, but here I provide you guys with so much value, so much that can help you in your future when you start trading. You don't have to use all these indicators. You don't have to use a bunch of scanners. You don't have to overcomplicate things. Just keep it very simple and understand where the sellers are going to be. Do you guys really think that there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of buyers over 47? Come on, guys. Okay, let me show you another ticker that got smacked down. And while some of you guys were thinking that MU was going to keep going, MU did not over that 75, all right? I told you guys we got in around 70. We called calls here again, and then we ended up taking profits around that 75. Why around that 75? Look at this. Look at the supply here, okay? Look at the demand right here, and then look at that supply. Look what MU is doing now. You guys really think MU was going to keep on blasting? Heck no. This thing just went from 65 all the way to that 76. I was more than happy to take profit at around that 70. So I ended up swinging this thing from 70 to 75 based on the weekly watch list the previous week. So I was happy as heck when I took profits at 75, right? While some of you guys are still trying to trade it above 75, it just doesn't make sense, okay? Understand supply, understand the psychology behind things as well, understand where the market is at and how it's building, and therefore it's going to give you a better understanding as to what you should be trading and what you should not be swing trading, all right? Let me give you another ticker. This one I did not talk about, but let me show you something very, very important about this. Look at this doji on the weekly time frame, okay? It hit basically to that 480, okay? Off by like a dollar, $1.40. And it created a nice doji, all right? It's a weekly time frame. It's at an all-time high. I get it. It's a strong company. It's great. But even with the doji, it still creates indecision. This is another tool that you guys should be having under your belts, that you understand what a doji is. A doji at an all-time high, close to a psychological number. What do you think is going to happen to this ticker? Okay, look at the supply that's created now. I even had my alerts, all my alerts popped off. None of the alerts for over that 475. Look at this, why 475? That candle body, okay, right there, that candle body, 475. Anything above 475, we would have seen 480. Otherwise, it's still a put play. Why? Look at the bottom base that was created. Look at this. Okay. Look at the structure, the candles right here, the price action right here. Boom. We stalled right here. We stalled here. We got bought up. We got rejected today. And then look where we're heading, to the bottom of this wick right here. Look where we headed. We actually made a lower low on here based on this huge range. Does this thing have potential to keep on dropping? Heck, yes, it does. Okay. There's no structure holding this up. All right, no structure. The only structure that you have is way down here. So watch out for Lulu in the next couple of maybe by the end of next week it'll be at 4:30, and then I'm going to sit here with the weekly watch list again next week, and I'm going to say I told you so. Okay, so there's a time and place for everything, guys. There's a time and place where supply is being built, and supply gets built based on these structures. Okay, just like demand. If you flip this right upside down, this is your entry for a call play to ride it all the way to this 4:30. In this case, you should be grabbing a put play right here once it broke that little base, and then you ride it all the way down to 4:30 to the next structure. Okay, I'm not saying that it's going to come down over there, but there's a high probability that it will. Okay, high probability. You guys can see I already have my my alerts and stuff. So hopefully you guys understand what this actually means, right? So yeah, I want to give you guys a little more perspective into what happened today. Just remember that it was volatility that came in. This was not a healthy pullback. This was a volatile pullback. Okay, there's a difference. Now for sure, I think I'll probably do another video explaining that. But for now, you guys should just go back and look at the previous videos and see how we talk about the staircase patterns, and how I made the video on the VIX, how to look at that video on hedging. There's a lot of videos that can help you guys understand what supply is and what to look for. This was a volatile movement. So volatility is still here as long as the volume is still aggressive. Once this starts to slow down and you guys see it slow down and we have some green candles, by all means, we're going to start going long. But we're going to talk about that next week on the weekly watch list on Sunday. For now, guys, I really hope you guys understand this. I really hope that the supply, you guys zoom out on the bigger time frame, understand where the market is at in general, and don't think that we're going to keep on flying and flying and flying, guys. All right. Manage your positions, guys. Set those alerts on, set your stop losses, trail everything, guys, for sure. And don't YOLO everything, guys, please. All right. So good luck trading the rest of the 2 days. One ticker that I want to give you guys to keep on alert is this demand right here on C. I actually broke this down already for some of my students. But look at this. All the demand that's happening down here, and look where we're at. C, one of the financials has been trending down aggressively, and then finally today we have a nice little squeeze pattern right here. We have this trend line that's coming down, so it might take tomorrow or two more days to actually create a nice little base. And what I want to see for C is to create a nice demand right here. And once we break that like 48.50, 48.60, I think we'll start trending back up, guys. So keep a high alert on C, just a side play for you guys. And for sure, we'll have it on the watch list next week, depending on where we end up at. All right. So this is just your last one. Just to give you guys a heads up, and then just to show you today how this thing played out as well. This was on the weekly watch list. J&J actually rocked today. They have some good news, so make sure you keep your alerts over that 166, because once we break that 166, it's gonna pop off, guys. So I'll leave you guys with that. Enjoy the rest of your week, and please trade safe, manage risk, and show some appreciation, guys.